Hey, what's good, y'all? It's the Carolina Kid here to do again what y'all hate doing. I know, I'm talking about reading. Hey, look, y'all, I'm still into it. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families. And the segment I'm on today, y'all, is listen to your language. Good stuff, good stuff. Lock in on this. Pin your ears back. Here we go. One of the best ways to tell whether you're in your circle of influence or circle of concern is to listen to your own language. If you're in your circle of concern, your language will be blaming, accusing, reactive. I can't believe the way these kids are behaving. They're driving me crazy. My spouse is so inconsiderate. Why did my father have to be an alcoholic? If you're in your circle of influence, your language will be proactive. It will reflect a focus on the things you can do something about. I can help create rules in our family that will enable the children to learn about the consequences of their behavior. I can look for opportunities to teach and reinforce positive behavior. I can be considerate. I can model the kind of loving interaction I would like to see in my marriage. I can learn more about my father and his addiction to alcohol. I can seek to understand him, to love, and to forgive. I can choose a different path for myself, and I can teach and influence my family so that this will not be part of their lives. In order to get a deeper insight into your own level of proactivity or reactivity, you might like to try the following experiment. You may want to ask your spouse or someone else to participate with you in giving you feedback. Now, the first thing that it has, you know what, before I read the 4 things that it has for this experiment, I'm going to read right at the bottom here first. It says, if you find that you are using essentially reactive language, you can take immediate steps to replace that kind of language with proactive words and phrases. The very act of forcing yourself to use the words will help you recognize habits of reactivity and begin to change. Teaching responsibility for language is another way we can help even young children learn to integrate habit 1. All right, now I'm gonna go over those 4 things. But right before I go over those 4 things, let me recap what I just read, what you just heard from the listen to your language segment. We have to always understand that we should not be thinking or acting through our circle of concern. Like, because if we're doing that, then we're not being proactive. We're being reactive. And we can't move around like that. We can't operate like that. We have to be responsible and accountable for the things that we can control. Because once you begin to start manipulating things that you can, once you start to begin to manipulate things that you can control, then that means you are being proactive. Then that means you are thinking and acting through your circle of influence instead of your circle of concern. So that's a major thing. So we got to make sure that we're always doing that, trying to make sure we seize and take advantage of the things that are within our power to. If it's not within our power to handle or control, then we got to leave things like that up to the Lord. Like we gotta step back and just let the Lord handle a situation like that. Don't overstress or overwork yourself or overthink yourself into things that you can't even control. You have to just sit back on some things like that and only focus on the things that you have power over, that you have control over, that you can manipulate and will into a different situation. So, but I'm gonna go over these 4 things. And remember, it said, in order to get a deeper insight into your own level of proactivity and reactivity, you might like to try this following experiment. You may want to ask your spouse or someone else to participate with you and give you feedback. So I'm getting ready to read these 4 things to y'all. And so what I need for y'all to do is participate. I need some feedback. I need y'all to comment. Let me know something. Talk to me. Because the first one that it has here is identifying a problem in your family culture. That's going to be the first thing that we have to do. We have to identify whatever the problem is in our family culture. Then after you have identified that problem, you want to elaborate to someone else using completely reactive terms. Focus on your circle of concern. Work hard and try to convince that person that you are not the problem at fault, that you're not to blame for this. Try hard to get them to see that. Now, then on the other end, describe the same problem in completely proactive terms. Focus on your response ability. Talk about what you can do in your circle of influence. Convince someone else that you can make a real difference in this situation. Now, after you've done those three things, the fourth one says, think about the difference in the two descriptions. Which one more closely resembles your normal habit pattern when talking about family problems? And only you can answer that. Only you can answer that. You know the type of person that you are. You know how you respond to things. That area between stimulus and response, that part right there in the middle, you know you. You know how you act. You know how you respond. Is that something that needs to be changed, needs to be altered, so that once the stimulus happens and the response is given, that space in the middle where we're allowed to choose, will that alter your response? Once you've thought about these four things, once you've thought about these four questions, will it alter how you respond to certain things? After certain stimuluses have happened, how will you choose to respond? That's what's so sweet about it. We have that option to choose. So it's all up to you of how you want to be able to respond to a problem that you have. Are you going to just look at it and just think about how you're not the problem, how you're not the issue, how you can't be blamed, how you can't be accused of anything? Or are we just going to begin to have conversations of how we can fix the solution, how we can fix the problem, how we can better the situation? Because those are the type of conversations that we need to be having. All right, y'all. But that's it. Carolina Kid out.